Welcome back to Filmmaster Reviews, I'm Adam J. Last year, James Gunn's DCU universe was kicked off with Superman. Now, I had a lot of problems with that film, I'll leave a link to my review in the description, but overall, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed myself more than I didn't. Despite all the things the movie did wrong, it did put a smile on my face often, and I could see the potential of the universe based on that one film. It left me interested where this series could go, and I was intrigued to see what it would all build up to. So now we have a new Supergirl movie, the next film in James Gunn's DCU. While he's not directing this time around, James Gunn made it very clear to everyone, and I quote, "We won't greenlight a film until we have a finished script we're happy with, and we won't cast until the script is finished." Well, if Supergirl represents a script you're happy with, James Gunn, this universe is in serious fucking trouble. Supergirl was dog piss, and sitting through it was a colossal pain in my ass. From the horrendous writing, to the insufferable main character, to the amateur-hour cinematography, to a villain more forgettable and bland than any MCU villain, and you can fucking quote me, Darky Dark Elf villain is Heath Ledger's Joker compared to this jackass. He's no Ezekiel Sims in terms of awful, but then again, who is? Supergirl sees Kara Zor-El going to planets with red suns so that she can inebriate herself and numb the pain of not having a home anymore. When her dog Crypto is poisoned by a space pirate who isn't important enough to remember, she goes on a quest with a young woman seeking revenge on the same person, in order to obtain the antidote that the space pirate conveniently just keeps on him the entire time. Now you may be asking yourself, why doesn't she just fly Crypto to a yellow sun planet? Well, your guess is as good as mine, folks. The screenwriter didn't care, so why the fuck should I? What follows is the most generic plot you can think of for a comic book movie, a Jason Momoa appearance as Lobo, which you can't convince me wasn't done in pickups, random Superman cameos that you also can't convince me weren't done in pickups, and some of the most uninspired action scenes I've seen in recent memory. Now, the idea behind the film is interesting. The concept that they were going for with Kara's character was rather unique. Unlike Clark, who was raised on Earth, she had already been raised on her home planet before being sent to Earth. So she has no real emotional tether to the human race. She feels lost, alone in the world, and travels to planets with red suns to numb her pain. Again, the idea of a person starting the film out this way and ending up more like the Supergirl we are accustomed to by the end is a cool idea. Where this all falls apart is in the execution. First, let's look at the main character. Now, as I said, this is a character going through a lot of grief, and you want to see her evolve into the Supergirl we know. Now, I'm not crapping on Millie Alcock. I think she's a great actress and was not a bad choice for this version of Supergirl. Loved her on House of the Dragon, and I'm not opposed to a quote-unquote edgy Supergirl. But this script, this horrendous albatross of a fucking script, lets her down at every corner. The best comparison I can make to Supergirl in this movie is Laurie Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And here's what I mean by that. It's not to that extreme a degree, but just hear me out on this. What I mean by this is you have a character who has been through a lot of traumatic shit, and under normal circumstances, you'd want to see her succeed. The problem is the script makes the character so fucking unlikable that you just don't give a shit. This isn't Millie Alcock's fault, it's the writing's fault. I was pretty much done with this character about halfway through. I just didn't care anymore. But then, just when the movie looked like it was finally transforming her in the end, it had her do something that made me want to put my fist through a damn wall. I'm not going to say what happens, but if I ever hear anyone bitch about this again, I'm going to fucking smack them. Going back to the script, this was written by someone with zero screenwriting experience, and let me tell you, that tracks, because the dialogue here is fucking terrible. It is the most cookie-cutter bullshit you could put in a movie like this. The story is full of holes and convoluted and just goes off on the most random tangents. Christ, Elektra had better writing than this. And don't even get me started on Ruthie's annoying ass. She makes this same speech about family and honor like 40 times in this movie, and all I wanted to do was fucking stab her. Now, Jason Momoa, to his credit, is really giving his performance as Lobo everything he has, but he has fuck all to work with, so all he can really do is coast by on the standard Jason Momoa performance. He looks badass, he acts badass, that's pretty much it. Now, I'll say, if the movie had more of him, it may have been more bearable, but he's barely in this. You cut him from the movie, not a thing changes. But it isn't just the script or the dialogue or the underutilization of characters that makes this bad. It's the filmmaking in general, more particularly the cinematography. The director of this movie was Craig Gillespie, who helmed I, Tonya. This wasn't some amateur they got to make this, and yet In about 70% of the movie's shots, the characters are randomly obstructed by shadows. The film just looks ugly and murky, and for a film that's trying to say, hey, we're fun, we're cool, we're with it, yo, can you tell I grew up in the 90s? This movie is the exact opposite. It's not fun to look at, it's not fun to experience, it fumbles its character development by the end, and there's just nothing here you haven't seen done a million times better. Guys, let me just end with this. Anyone who has seen my channel knows I am not one to just jump on a hate bandwagon. Guys, this whole bad review is coming from me. I'm the guy who cut Quantumania and the Marvels a fucking break. Watching this film, knowing the reception I was seeing for it, I was looking for things. Fucking anything to just latch onto and defend. And try as I might, I couldn't do it. That being said, do I think people are reaching hyperbole territory saying this is the worst comic book movie ever? Absolutely. It's nowhere near the worst, and I know I'm not the first critic to actually bring up this thing. I've actually seen several reviews talk about this, but what does bug me is that some of them are using it as a defense of the movie. Guys, I'm sorry. A bad movie is still a bad movie. It doesn't matter if it's better than Madam Web. It doesn't matter if it's better than Morbius. It doesn't matter if it's better than Fanforstic. A bad movie is still a bad movie. I'm going to call the bad movie out as such. Supergirl may not be the worst thing ever. This is very true. That does not make it good. Supergirl blows. So what do you think of Supergirl? Please let me know in the comments, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more.